on my knee. You good?
Both of us worked for the University of California, Irvine from 1980 to 1993.
I've been living in Irvine for all my life, 21 years.
The reason why we wanted to live in Irvine is it was one of the safest cities.
It's one of the best places in the United States.
Something that's changed over the community in the past few years. Definitely more people.
The streets are crowded.
Significant increase on housing pricing. The cost of living in the States today is incredibly high, so I think it's going to create a lot of tension, I guess you could say.
I think a factor that makes Irvine safe is that it's a very family-oriented community.
Irvine has a reputation for being very strong in their academics.
It's been known for their good schools. People that come to this area come because they want to make their lives better.
Irvine's a pretty safe community, yet there's a bunch of stuff that happens still.
Plotting, scheming, finding reason to defend all of your violent nights. Promise me.
Earlier this year, someone got shot a couple neighborhoods down, and last night even, there were a bunch of cops there and suspicious activity going on.
Maybe like 3 months ago, I had a gentleman run out with a cart full of liquor bottles. They had probably 70 to 80 bottles in the cart, and they had a car parked right out front right here. Car pulled up, they popped the trunk, they ran out with the cart, and they just were standing right there just loading it up.
A lot of teenagers coming in with big bags or something like that, just fitting as much stuff as they can. Won't look at you, won't respond, try and cover themselves up and just get out as quick as possible.
People don't listen to each other. Use social media to go ahead and connect, but to sit down and actually hear what's important to that person and see the expression on their face, it doesn't happen.
Kids nowadays have a lot of outside influences. For instance, social media platforms such as Instagram and TikTok especially kind of inspire them in a way to act outside the norm and to be different. It's a cool thing to be rebellious, like vape or Juul or drive e-bikes recklessly.
I notice there's a lot of e-bikes around now. I see them in parks all the time. You know, they want to be...
Wannabe gangsters. Wannabe gangsters.
It's too bright. It's all right. Get me in a better spot. This is bad cinematography. You're supposed.
Can you define wannabe gangster?
Define wannabe gangster?
Could I define what? No.
No, you have to define it.
I have to define it.
A wannabe gangster is someone who tries so hard to be tough, does really stupid stuff.
Is not in an economically poor environment, but wants to pretend as if there's someone who has to do crimes for money.
People with one AirPod in. People who post and it's just like them. Like this.
Wannabe gangster is someone who doesn't come from a background, but they want to be like involved in that culture.
Motivation of being a gangster, I think it's for a feeling of importance. If you feel that you're above everyone and that you're better than the rest of the people.
They just want to be seen. In reality, they're really lonely. They don't have any friends.
Can you act wannabe gangster for me?
I got you. Back real quick.
What you want? What you want? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. What you want?
Wanna get Swiss cheese right here, yo? What are you looking at, yo? Swiss cheese right here and right now, yo.
What's up, cuz? No, get my cuz. What's up, cuz? What's good, cuz? Just from the streets, you know what I'm saying?
I feel you, I feel you.
Type There's a lot of teenage crime in Irvine because there's not a lot of stuff to do in Irvine. Kids just get like peer pressure into doing whatever the other kid is doing, which is normally just like illegal stuff. One kid gets a turn and then the other kid's like, oh, I want that turn. And since it's a wealthy neighborhood, the parents are able to afford it, and so they just buy it without thinking twice about it.
They kind of feel a pressure to fit in. They don't have the wealth to spend on like random designer clothes or shoes. Result to like becoming gangsters, to attempt to not feel isolated because of that fear that they're going to feel isolated.
Although they're like acting like wannabe gangsters trying to be people they're not, we can at least appreciate the fact that they care about their image and they want to be something
but they chose to be gangsters.
You know, I had a friend, he ran away from the cops on a dirt bike for 5 hours. He was under house arrest and he's on probation now. He didn't need to do that. His mom's a doctor. But he's...
You know, my 3 boys, obviously we had the same input. Me and my wife were the, made all 3 of them. Just listen to the music now. It's like, I understand, like when I grew up, I had like NWA and stuff like that pop off, and it was very appealing as a young man. You have the exact same now. You have like the hardcore, like they call trap rap, or basically like gang rap. And it's very appealing to people that aren't involved with that. Problem is like these guys that are teaching this stuff are young guys as well. You know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna smoke weed online, or it's like, oh, I'm gonna show you how to steal this or whatever. A kid doesn't think it's like, oh, okay, I take one thing, it's like, okay, if I get caught, they're gonna talk to me or whatever, blah, 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 right? And it's like, I tell kids, I'm like, look, you could take something and someone's pissed off at that day. So then he calls in a police officer. That police officer then has to write this thing up. A BS little misdemeanor for stealing like a $10 item or whatever. They'll just, I mean, it's only $20 to run a credit check and a background check. They're gonna be like, oh, this kid had a misdemeanor for stealing. It's like everyone steals when they're younger, everyone lies. It's not because these are bad kids, they're just making bad choices, but they don't understand the consequences, especially with vape. You know, it's tough, like, right? Because I grew up in the 80s and 70s, like smoking was cool. Then it became not cool. Late 90s, 2000, like everyone stopped smoking, period. And then all of a sudden vapes come in, they're like, hey, this is cotton candy cigarettes. And so now all these kids now are vaping because like it tastes like candy. I don't know if the parents talk to their kids about this stuff, but like, just assume, even if your kid's not making these decisions, they're in these situations where these decisions are gonna be made anyway, right? Like you're at a party, someone's drinking, they offer your kid a drink, your kid has to make that decision, right? And if you haven't talked to your kid at all, like he has no information. No one's perfect. So it's like, but you need to be able to rebound off that. You need to be able to have basically encouragement that you can make that change. And you also need to have additional information to help you understand why to do that change.
My name is Ron Skolsding. I'm the newly appointed Irvine Commissioner. I actually get a lot of videos sent directly towards me of kids harassing people's homes, kicking down their doors, running off, throwing stuff at their homes, their cars, even breaking public property and then running off. When we were kids, we were egging cars and toilet papering houses, but these days, you know, things get more aggressive over time. It's one thing to be a little hoodlum, but it's another thing to cause actual danger and injury to somebody, right? So there's got to be some sort of balance and moderation. You know, I get it, you're going to do some silly things out in public, but you can't do it at the expense of someone's life or livelihood. Yes, go have fun, you know, live your youth, have a great life, but don't forget that there's other people in existence out there, and the last thing you want to do is accidentally hurt someone in a very, very bad way when you really didn't mean to and you're just trying to be funny or have a good time. So something that I'm passionate about and that I want to work on is giving them an option to do other stuff. I think a lot of times these kids are just trying to have fun. They don't mean any actual harm. We got to give them something else to do. You know, if you have something more fun and entertaining to do, you're gonna be less incentivized to do something more dangerous and destructive to others. If you like music, let's do more music stuff. Let's do more art stuff. Let's do things where we engage with each other more. And number 2 is a lot of people aren't informed enough. So I want to do outreach. I'm working with a company called Super 73 right now. We're putting together a certification program for safety. It's free, you don't have to pay for it, and we incentivize parents making their kids do it because they get a discount and the kids get to have fun. The more we're in community, the less we're isolated and start running astray and doing things that generally aren't receptive for the rest of the community. I want to bring community together.
That's all. Yeah, that's it. That's it.